Alright, this is 023 notes on systems of equations, the combination method. Objective, you'll be able to solve a system of equations by using the combination method. Here's your steps. You can hit the pause button. Alright, so you can copy these down by hitting the pause button there, but I'll read them out to you. So steps. Step 1 is to write a number of the leading coefficient of the first equation next to the second equation. Step 2, write the number of the leading coefficient of the second equation next to the first equation. Number 3, of the leading coefficients and the two numbers written there should be 3 positive numbers and 1 negative, or 3 negative values and 1 positive value. Step 4, make parentheses around each equation and distribute the number you have written to each term in that line. Step 5, once each value is distributed by multiplication, then you are going to combine your two equations and eliminate just the like terms, just like you did in the elimination method. Step 6, solve for one variable. Step 7, substitute that variable into the top equation. Step 8, solve for the other variable. And step 9, write your solutions as a coordinate. So, a whole lot of steps here, 9-step process. So obviously you're not going to have many of these problems on your test as compared to some of the other problems. Alright, so let's use these steps to solve a couple systems of equations. That is, let's find out where the lines of each system intersect. Remember, they intersect at a coordinate, so the answer will be in coordinate form, like xy. Alright, so this first one here. We have a system of equations. We have a negative 8x minus 7y is equal to negative 24. And then we have negative 8. So we have negative 4x plus 14y equals negative 12. Step 1 is to take that negative 8 and you're going to write it outside and put parentheses around the entire system there. And then step 2, you're going to take that negative 4 and put that negative 4 on the outside of the top equation. So that's steps 1 and 2. To make it look a little bit prettier, let's see if I could do this. So it's going to look like that. There we go. So whatever's written here in front of that x, you write there. And whatever's in front of this x, you write there. Step 3, which is the key thing to do here. I'll make that prettier again. There we go. The key is we have to make sure that we have 3 negatives and 1 positive, or 1 positive number and 1 positive number and 3 negatives, or 1 negative and 3 positives. In this, it's a 3-to-1 scenario here that we need to have, because the whole goal is that we need the x's to be eliminated. So the positive and a negative will make a negative number, and the negative and a negative will make a positive number. So the x's will become eliminated. So we distribute it out. 4 times negative 8x is negative 32x. 4 times negative 7 gets you negative 28y. And 4 times negative 24 gets you negative 96. Distribute the bottom. We get 32x minus 112y equals 96. Once we get that, we then do the elimination method. The negative 32x and a positive 32, the x, they cancel out, which is happening here in step 5. Then we got to combine negative 28y minus 112y gets us a negative 140y. Negative 96 plus 96 gets us 0. We then divide by negative 140 to both sides and we get y equals 0. We then substitute that 0 in for the y in that top equation, which was, from the beginning, negative 8x minus 7y equals negative 24. So we put that 0 in for the y. Negative 7 times 0 is going to get us 0. So we have negative 8x equals negative 24. Divide both sides by negative 8 and we get x equals positive 3. So our answer is 3, 0. Our coordinate, because our x comes first, then our y. So we have 3, 0. Let's do this system together. Now it's going to be a lot of work, but we could do it. So first step here, we want to do the opposite numbers here. So we have a positive 6 up on top, so that means we got to write a positive 6 down here. I'm going to multiply everything by 6. We have a negative 9 in front of this x, so we have to put a negative 9 up top and multiply everything up here by negative 9. Negative 9 times 6, that gets you a negative 54. X, negative 9 times 1y gets you negative 9y. And negative 9 times 10 gets you negative 90. Then we got to distribute the 6 on the bottom, so 6 times negative 9x gets you negative 54x. Oh wait, we want to make sure one's positive, one negative. So what we got to do, we have to change this into 3 negatives and 1 positive, or 3 positives and 1 negative. I'm just going to change that to a negative 6. So negative 6 times negative 9 gets us a positive 54x. Negative 6 times negative 3y gets us plus 18y. And negative 6 times negative 21 gets you 126. We now combine like terms. These will get eliminated because they're opposites of one another. Negative 9y plus 18y gets us 9y. 126 minus 90, or negative 90 plus 126, gets us 36. We divide both sides by 9. And we're going to get y equals 4. Then we're going to substitute that 4 in for the y up top. So we have 6x plus, instead of y, we're going to write 4 equals 10. Subtract 4 from both sides. So we get 6x equals 6. Divide by 6 to both sides, and we get x equals 1. So our coordinate is 1, 4. That's our solution to the systems. Alright, let's try this problem. See if you could do that on your own, or at least the first step on your own. Whoop, my bad. So, my apologies, here we go. Put parentheses around them. We write our opposite numbers, so we put negative 4 here and negative 8 here. And since we have 4 negatives, I just need to make one of them a positive, so I'm going to make that top one a positive 4. We then distribute. 4 times negative 8 gets you negative 32. X. 4 times negative y gets you negative 4y. 4 times 7 gets you 28. Then we got to distribute the bottom. So negative 8 times negative 4 gets you positive 32. X. Negative 8 times 2 gets you negative 16y. And negative 8 times 26, we put that into the calculator. And you get negative 208. We then crunch it out. Negative 32x and positive 32x, they cancel out. Negative 4y minus 16y gets us negative 20y. And 28 minus 208, that's going to get you negative 180. Divide both sides by negative 20. you're going to get y equals 9. We're going to substitute 9 in for y up top in that top equation. So we're going to get negative 8x minus 9 equals 7. Add 9 to both sides. So you get negative 8x equals 16. Divide by negative 8. And you get x equals negative 2. So our final answer is negative 2, 9. Alright, we got time for another. Here's problem number 5. For combinations, don't forget there's an imaginary 1 right there. So that's a negative 1x. So put a negative 1 up top, put a 2 on the bottom. We need 3 out of the 4 to be negative. So I'm going to make that a negative. Negative 1 times 2x gets us a negative 2x. Negative 1 times positive 8 gets us a negative 8y. And negative 1 times 8 gets us negative 8. We then got to distribute the bottom. So negative 2 times negative 1x gets you 2x. Negative 2 times 6 gets us negative 12y. And negative 2 times 6 gets us negative 12. Negative 2x and positive 2x, they cancel each other out. So we get negative 20y equals negative 20. Divide both sides by negative 20, and you get y equals positive 1. We're going to put that positive 1 in for y. So we're going to get 2x plus 8 times 1 equals 8. 8 times 1, you know, is 8. So we have 2x plus 8 equals 8. We then subtract 8 from both sides. So we get 2x equals 0. Divide by 2 to both sides, and we get x equals 0. So our final answer is 0, 1. Alright, one more. Then we'll call it quits here. We haven't done with the double negative yet, I don't think. So let's do one with the double negative. Make it a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. Cool. So even when there's two negatives, not a big deal. Got negative 3, negative 5. Since we have all 4 of these numbers to be negative, we want to make one of them a positive, so we call that a positive 3. We multiply them out, distribute to all the terms inside the parentheses. So 3 times negative 5 gets you negative 15x. 3 times positive 6 gets you 18y. And 3 times 6 gets you 18. Negative 5 times negative 3 gets you 15x. Negative 5 times negative 12 gets you 60y. And negative 5 times negative 12 gets you positive 60. Negative 15x and positive 15x, they cancel each other out. 18y plus 60y gets you 78y. 18 plus 60 gets you 78. Divide both sides by 78, you get y equals 1. And you put 1 in for y. So you get negative 5x plus 6 times the 1. And that equals 6. 6 times 1 is 6. Carry down to 5x, so you have 5x plus 6 equals 6. You then subtract 6 from both sides, and you get negative 5x equals 0. Divide both sides by negative 5, and you get x equals 0. So our final answer is going to be 0, 1. That's the coordinates, the solution to the system of equations. XY. Classwork on your homework. So your classwork is O23 CW1 systems combinations, and your homework is O23 HW1 systems combinations. Alright, if you have any questions, feel free to email me or come next drop. I'll be happy to help you out. Alright, have a good night.